Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Networking Thursdays. Very glad you're with us today. It is June 23rd, 2022. For those people on Zoom, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please just put your questions into the chat window. For those watching on Facebook, thank you for being with us. Just enter your questions in the comment field. We'll be sure to get those questions answered for you. Also in the Zoom, for those on Zoom, if you'd like to network with everybody else who's on the call today, this is all about networking. Put in your personal information, put in your name, phone number, email address, list a couple target companies because you never know who we may know, and put all that in the chat window, put in your LinkedIn profile so you can connect with everybody who's on the call, because networking is all about networking and reaching out to other people. And you've all just now seen, you'll see a common presentation today. Please note this event is being recorded and is currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window do not appear in the recording. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org. A website to help those who are unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I launched a second website, careerusa.org, to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon. And if you happen to join us tomorrow for lunch after our North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group meeting, you can get it there for $10 versus $15 on Amazon. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. The group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007, and we have a really interesting program coming up tomorrow, and I'll tell you about that at the end of this presentation. And since 2017, I've been a member of the Practice Interview Team, also known as the PIC Crew. You just have to remember, your resume, your LinkedIn profile isn't going to get you a job. What it does do is it gets you a phone call. How well you practice your interview skills is what's going to get you that next job. So if you'd like to schedule your free interview or find out more information about the PIC Crew, just go to dallaspicrew.com. Well, every session, every time we do this on the second and fourth Thursdays, we have a different speaker who talks about networking. Networking is networking. It's pretty much the same thing. It's picking up the phone, it's emailing, it's having a Zoom call, it's communicating with other people. But everybody here who you've seen talks about it in a little bit different way, how they did it, how they like it, and hopefully you'll pick something up. You've picked something up over the last several months. So today our speaker is Jason Hopper. He's a career coach at Jewish Family Services of Greater Dallas. He's going to talk about outside the box networking, unconventional ways to get noticed. So Jason, thank you for being with us, and it's all yours.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you inviting me to be here today. I love this particular presentation because it's, everybody knows social media is a good way to go for getting network with people, right? So, yes, let me pull up my presentation here. Can you guys see that? Can you get a thumbs up or?
Yep, we can do it.
There we go. All right, perfect. So I want to make sure we take note of the subtitle here. It's the unconventional ways to get noticed. Because as we're going and I'm talking about the different things, I've heard, as I've done this presentation more than a few times, it's like, why are we doing this exactly? You want to get noticed. You want people to know who you are. Right? Like your job's out there, but if people don't know who you are to come let you get it, you're not going to get it. Right? So as Jeff said, my name is Jason Hopper. I am a career coach here at Jewish Family Service. I've been with JFS for just a little over 2 years now, almost 2.5 years now. Before I was here, I worked for the Texas Workforce Commission. I was a workforce development specialist 1, which is kind of really the state's fancy title for job coach. I was at the TWC for 7 years. And then before that, I was a recruiter. I had a few cups of coffee in the corporate world, but most of my recruiting was in staffing. I staffed pretty much in every industry except for IT. IT was the one thing I just got just a little bit of experience doing. And I did that for 14 years. So, you know, as I'm getting older, I do like to round down. I've been putting people to work in some form for, you know, 20 years now. So that's who I am in a nutshell. I did see like networking starting. Guys, make sure that you do get networked with everybody that's here today. Again, you never know who somebody's gonna know. And you know, like I said, it takes a village. So get connected, okay? Let's kick this baby off. The dictionary defines networking as the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. All right, that's great, but what does that really mean? You know, oftentimes people get the idea in their head about networking, right? They picture, you know, a vast room with, you know, 2 or 3 clumps of people here and there. Maybe there's wine or cheese and great conversation. That's not really what networking is. I like to think and remind everybody like networking is just talking to people. And I like to add making that offer to help them. People will be more than likely to want to help you if you offer to help them. And then this is the part that I love. I love social media, right? Social media has made networking very simple, very easy. I'm going to talk to you guys about not only LinkedIn, right? That's, of course, coming up next. I know this isn't LinkedIn Tuesday, but you know I'm not going to talk about social media and not talk about LinkedIn because it is, in fact, the #1 go-to place for job seekers to get noticed. It's interesting the way that LinkedIn works now because the platform's changed over the years. Previously, LinkedIn was like wait. Back in the day, LinkedIn was like, oh, hi, I'm a recruiter. This is what I'm looking for. And then over here, you had the job seekers like, oh, hey, hi, I'm a job seeker. And, you know, maybe we could connect and match up, right? That's how LinkedIn used to be. Actually, today, LinkedIn is a lot more content driven than it is anything else. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. But one question that I get asked, because yes, recruiters are still on LinkedIn. In fact, I believe the last email I received from a LinkedIn salesperson trying to sell me on the premium service said that like 97% of recruiters are on LinkedIn looking for candidates. That's like 97%, guys. That's like pretty much everybody. Like if you're a recruiter, you're probably going to be on LinkedIn, right? Which is why LinkedIn is so important if you are in job search mode. I read an article one time that said if you're a job seeker and you're not on LinkedIn, you basically don't exist. Not true, but I get the point. One question that I get asked a lot is, what's the best way to get connected to recruiters? Guys, something that you need to understand, everybody and their mama is trying to get connected to the recruiter because they are the recruiter. They are the people that will be calling you, screening you, setting up your interview with the hiring manager. And everybody's trying to get a hold of them. So they get a lot of requests. When I was a recruiter, you know, LinkedIn was around, but it wasn't as big as it is. But I would still get a lot of requests to connect. Few things you need to know. First of all, I would suggest that you get a little bit focused on a specific company. Just getting out there and trying to connect to any recruiter that you see is not a very good strategy. I suggest that you get, 10 to 12 target companies, places where you want to work, get onto LinkedIn, go find that recruiter that works at that company. There's a few ways that you can do this. The easiest way is in the search bar, type in the name of the company. In this case, we're going to use McKesson as an example and type recruiter after it. You'll get the list of recruiters at McKesson. Next thing that you want to do, check their profile and look and see if they have some activity in there. Okay. If they don't have any activity, this is not going to work. But if they have activity and they have a nice smiling face, excellent. Here's what you do, because you don't want to connect. Not yet. Now, keep track of your target companies and the recruiters that work there. However you keep track of things. If you want to write it down, cool. If you want to put it in your phone, great. You know, however you keep track of stuff. I think it's probably easiest to track it in an Excel spreadsheet. So get the name of the company and put the recruiter in here. What you want to do before you go making that request to connect is engage with them. Look at their content. What types of things are they posting on LinkedIn? A lot of recruiters will post jobs. It's free. It goes to everybody in their network. Everybody in their network can see it, right? So let's say that's the case. Let's say a recruiter posted a job for an admin position, right? But you're not an admin. You're a project manager. Okay. I bet if you think really hard, you probably know at least one admin in your network, right? At which point, now we start engage. Hit the like button on that recruiter's post. Leave a comment. Hey, and then tag them, okay? Does everybody know how to tag people on the LinkedIn? If not, it's real simple. Just hit shift and the number 2, the @ sign. What happens is when you do that, there will be a drop-down menu, and LinkedIn is smart. It knows the person that you're trying to tag, and it will list them first. Usually, like everything, that some things are glitchy. Last week, it wasn't doing it right, but normally that's what will happen. You can just click the person's name on the drop-down, the @ sign goes away, and their name is now in bold. That's how you tag them. Why do you want to tag them? A couple reasons. One, it'll go to their notifications that says that, you know, Jason Hopper just commented on your post, right? Also, too, once you tag people, it lets everybody in that person's network, they have the ability to see it. Also, too, as other people are commenting on it, you will start to see those things in your notifications, okay? In fact, it says, you know, Jason Hopper commented on your post. Then it say Jeff Morris commented on the post that you commented on. Keep the conversation going. Again, they want things, it's social media. They want you to continue that, right? So now you've tagged them, cool. And you can leave them a message, right? Which is like, hey, I may know somebody interested. Cool. Trust me, as a recruiter, former recruiter, I loved when I got referrals. It's one less person I got to go find myself, right? So you're trying to be helpful. All right. Let's say they didn't post a job. Let's say they posted something like an article about their company, right? Their company was in the news lately and they posted an article. Okay, cool. Like it, tag them, comment. That's super cool. Thanks for posting. I didn't know that you guys donated 100,000 eggs to orphanages. I don't even know, that's a crazy example, but like, you get the idea. You want to make sure that you are letting them know, you know, that you read and you're commenting on it. Maybe they posted like they did a post. Some recruiters will do like a day in the life of the recruiter, right? I've seen a couple of those posts from recruiters. Same deal. Like it, tag them, comment. I suggest that you do this and engage with the recruiter that you're trying to connect with at the company you're trying to break in with for at least, well, I normally would say like 3 weeks, okay? But let's say they post something and they don't post anything for like, I don't know, a month and a half later. Well, okay, that obviously 3 weeks have gone by, but they've only had one post. You want to make sure you get, you're engaging in at least 3 posts if they're not as active before you go and make that attempt to connect with them. Because by the time that you have made that request to connect, I call that earning the ask, they should have that name recognition. They should know, right? Oh, yeah, Janet Young. I know Janet Young. Well, I don't really know you, but you've been engaging in their content, so they feel like they kind of do know you, and they will be more than likely to go ahead and accept that request to connect. The reason that you want to connect with them over follow is this. Once you connect to them, you now have access to them. And what I mean by access, I mean you can send them a direct message. Here's the other thing on LinkedIn, right? You've got your target company. We're going to stay with McKesson. We got McKesson, and I'm an accountant, and I want to work at McKesson. Okay, cool. Get connected to somebody that is in the accounting department at McKesson. Okay. Once again, look at their LinkedIn profile, see if they have activity, because if they don't, this isn't going to work, right? But if they do have activity, awesome. Make sure that you like it at the very least, and you can leave a comment on it. Okay. And then you could go ahead and do that request to connect. Now, a couple few things. When you're sending the note and you're sending that request to connect, first off, always send a note and tell the people why it is that you want to connect, right? For everybody that's on this call today, I want you to get connected to everybody. That your connection note's real simple. I saw you in the career DFW Jason Hopper presentation. I want to connect. Jason said we should connect. Get connected. All right. That's the easy connection note, right? If they have activity, like look at their activity. What are they posting about? Okay. I think a generic type of connection request note, such as we have a lot of mutual connections, and I went no, like, or hey, and this is also very general. I'm trying to get connected to other accountants, and I'm an accountant, right? Like if they have activity, look at what they're posting about. And that's where you send your note. That's where the magic goes, because now you're like, hey, Mark, I saw your article that you posted about, the financial responsibility, and I thought it was interesting. Here's a link on a similar topic that I think that you might find interesting. Put it right there in the note. Wanted to connect and collaborate more with you. Thanks. Well, you're letting them know that you saw their content. You're trying to be helpful because you're sending them a link on a thing that is, obviously of interest to them. And then you're making that request. They will most likely go ahead and accept that connection request. Okay. Once they do, again, keep track of them, put them in your spreadsheet, because you want this to continue. You want to continue to engage in their content. Really what you're doing is you're laying the groundwork and building out the relationship. And so now you are going to go check every other day or so and see if they post anything new. And if so, can you comment on it? Right? Keep that networking moving forward. Once they get that job, your job, because you're going to be looking at the company too, right? Like you're going to be monitoring the company for when they're going to post that accountant position. That's what you want to do. But when they do, now you get to strike like a cobra. This is why it's important to have connected to the person rather than follow them, because you've got access. So now you could send another direct message that goes like this. Hey, Mark, y'all posted a position for an accountant. That's, I know that's what I do, but we got connected. I've attached my resume for your convenience. Let me know what the next step is. Now, before y'all start going, hey, say what? That's not the recruiter. It's not the recruiter. I understand that. Mark, the accountant at McKesson, is not the recruiter. He's not. But he is human. And humans, by nature, we are curious. So what's most likely going to happen is he's going to open up that resume. He's going to take a look at it. Be like, oh, yeah, you can do the job. You got experience. And send it to his boss or supervisor, who will then look at it and, kick it down to the recruiting team and say, call. We want to talk. We want to interview this person. This tactic is actually how I got hired here at Jewish Family Service. I was already connected to our lead, Mitch Jacobs, when I was at the TWC, and I would comment on his content that he would post. I would refer my customers at TWC to the networking things that JFS did, and I would send Mitch an email, right? Like, hey, just outreach 30 people. Hope you have a good turnout. Thanksgiving, holiday roll around. I send Mitch a direct message, through LinkedIn. Hey, hope you have a great holiday. He would comment on my stuff. So he knew who I was. Again, I'm visible, right? He knows who I am. Job posts for career coach. I set my LinkedIn alerts to let me know anytime a job posted for career coach, and it posted for career coach. I stopped everything I was doing. It was Monday morning. Luckily, I did not have a customer at my desk, and I sent Mitch a direct message saying, y'all just posted this position. Here's my resume. Mitch said, great. I'll give it to Allison, our director. And he did. And then Allison called me 2 days later on a Wednesday, set up the interview for the following Tuesday, interviewed with her that Tuesday afternoon, and came back 2 days later, interviewed with our CEO. And then Friday afternoon, I got the phone call and got the offer. So I know the tactic works. I'm proof that it works. Yes, it takes a minute, right? Because you have to lay the groundwork. You have to engage in the other person's content. You have to keep that networking moving forward, but it works. I know it does. I'm proof it does. So another thing that I suggest is video. Guys, the way the algorithm is currently set up on LinkedIn, still, video content gets the most push into people's feed over anything else, right? And before you're like, okay, well, what? How am I gonna do that? Well, everybody's got this phone, right? It can record, it will record, and you could do a quick video. A few things about video and content, because I get asked this question a lot. I don't even know what I would say. What kind of content should I put in there? Well, you could talk about all kinds of things. You could talk about how you just had a great interview. Talk about your process. Tell a star story, right? And if you guys don't know what star stories are, STAR is an acronym. It stands for situation, task, action, and result. It's basically a story that is unique to you that tells how you solved a problem at an employer. Like a video star story that you upload onto LinkedIn could go a long way. Content, I think, is always important to post content. Again, you want to be noticed. I say all the time to clients, like, if your resume is the steak, your LinkedIn content is the sizzle. It's what sells you to the employer. And I think that if you have content on your LinkedIn platform, because guys, the recruiters, hiring managers are going to check out your social media at LinkedIn at the very least. And if they have content to look at where you have described where you have solved a problem, telling me that star story, it's going to be a lot more memorable than somebody that does not have content. So just keep that in mind. Also, too, and video's kind of tricky. There are a couple things on video for doing videos. The first one is, yes, you can go back to edit it. Okay. I think though, just the trying to get it perfect is a lot of time consuming. Whereas if you just point, click, record, and just start talking, and yes, you're going to have the, and then you're going to have those, but that's just kind of how we communicate as people, right? And so I think just kind of that raw, one take on a video is a lot better than something that's been chopped up and edited. But that's the thing. All right, I'm going to take a quick drink of my tasty soda. We're into that last point, which I've been talking about this whole time, which is engage. Make sure that you are engaging in your contacts' content. Again, why are we doing this, Jason? We want to be seen. We want to be noticed. You know what I do every day? The first hour of my day, I do nothing but LinkedIn for an hour, right? Like it's actually up. My LinkedIn is up right now. Like if you go look and search me out, you can see the little green dot. It says I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not on LinkedIn. I'm talking to you guys, right? But it's back and it's up there and it looks like I'm there, but I'm not on it. I'm only on the site 1 hour a day. That first hour in my morning, I post content, and then I just spend the next 45 to 50 minutes doing nothing but commenting, tagging, liking people's content. The reason I do it is I want to be noticed. I want to be visible. I want for people to know who I am and where I work and what I do. I want my name synonymous. If anybody goes career coach, oh yeah, Jason Hubbard, that's what I want. That's what you want. You want to be visible. You want for people to know who you are. You want to make sure that you are commenting and they know, you're building goodwill and trust is what you're doing by commenting and liking and tagging people on the site. That's what you're doing. So I encourage everybody to get out there, create some content, and get engaged with people that are in your feed. Facebook. Is anybody on Facebook in here? Or, yeah. Oh, we're live streaming on Facebook, aren't we? So, it is on Facebook. So Facebook, one of the things that I would suggest that you do is create a post to let your friends and family know that you're looking for a job. By the way, you need to be specific with this. All right. Don't just say, I'm looking for a job. You got any leads? No. You need, like, hey, I'm looking for project manager work. Let me know if you know anybody looking for project managers. LinkedIn, mostly business, former people that you used to work with or people you're trying to get connected with. Facebook's for friends and family, right? Like, so you should feel pretty comfortable posting something that pretty much only your friends and family are going to see. And your friends and family are going to want to try and help you anyway because, well, they're your friends and your family. This actually happened a couple years ago to a friend of mine who I graduated high school with, and she created a post on Facebook that basically said, she was like, hey, the company where I worked is closing down. I haven't had to have a job in 20 years. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a resume. Can anybody help me? I don't know what's going on. And I saw it. I was working at the TWC, and I replied and told Wendy to do her file for her benefits and send me your resume. I'll try to help out. Somebody else that we know saw it and tagged Aaron Alanese, who we graduated with as well. Aaron is a director at a staffing company. He got involved. Somebody else commented and said, oh, I think I have a lead for you, right? And Wendy, she ended up getting a job, I think in about a month and a half. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you post a job on a post on Facebook that you're looking for work, you're going to get hired in a month and a half. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is she created a piece of content letting people know she was looking for an accountant position, and enough people got involved in it that she was able to get leads and get hired quickly. I'm saying that it's something that can be done. I've seen it done successfully, and that's something that you can do as well. The other thing too is, on your about section where you're able to list like where you worked, like your previous employers or whatever, like create a new one, and in there put looking for new opportunities as a software engineer, right? Or whatever you do, right? That way people know that's kind of what you're looking for. And by the way, when I was a recruiter, Facebook was like the thing, right? We didn't have Instagram and all that back then, but I would look at people's Facebook, to see what they were posting, right? So if your about section says that you're looking for work, and I'm a recruiter, and I'm like, okay, well, we're on the up and up on that, right? Groups. very interesting what happened with groups. I'm in many groups on LinkedIn, and guess what? There's nothing happening at all in those groups. But I am constantly getting notifications on my on my phone that, you know, this person posted in this group, this person posted in that group. I did recommend, I had a client who is looking for, he was in PR, and he joined a couple of PR groups, public relations groups. And that's the other part. You can't just go to the group. You have to engage. You have to, you know, be an active participant in the group. And he did so, and ended up getting he got a lead, which turned into an interview. He did not get the job. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. He did not get that job, but he did get a lead and an interview out of it. And so I know that groups are moving pretty good in Facebook, and I suggest, you know, you get into a couple of them. There will be groups specific to the industry that you're looking in. Jump in there, introduce yourself, and, you know, be active within that group. All right. Instagram. Is anybody on Instagram? Y'all are actually kind of quiet. Jeff's on Instagram. Some of y'all can't see because you got your camera off, but that's okay. So if you're on Instagram, my best suggestion for you, use hashtags. That's how Instagram works. Before I logged on to here, I did a little bit of research, guys, and I did hashtag marketing. And there it came back with 66.8 million posts have that hashtag. So then I went ahead and I typed in hashtag marketing jobs, and I got 60.1 thousand return posts on that. That's a lot of hashtags for marketing jobs. What does that mean? That means that companies are out there and they're using that hashtag to try and attract you know, candidates. So now what happens? Okay, I've got a hashtag marketing job. We click it. Now we're starting to look at different types of companies that are hiring for those types of jobs. All right, great. Now what? Well, now's the time to comment and engage, right? And before we start getting too far down that rabbit hole, you want to stop and think and be like, well, they're not the recruiter, they're the social media guy, right? Right. But what happens next is you can always make a comment on it, like, hey, I just applied to this position. What happens next? What's the next step in the process? Is the social media guy going to know that? They should know something because they posted it. But if they don't know, who are they going to ask? The recruiter, right? And they were more than likely to engage with you and tell you what needs to happen next, right? Now you got a couple things happening at this point, because now you got some direction on what needs to happen. I think we all have been to enough presentations that we can agree that just applying to a job and crossing our fingers and hoping something happens doesn't work, right? But if you have direction on what should happen next, you're a little bit ahead of the game. I have a friend who works he does the social media for Peloton. And he spends most of his day responding to people that have posted about Peloton or you know, mentioned them in a post. He is the one that is the interacting person for the company for all the customers. So anybody out there who has a Peloton, if you leave a comment or a message on their posts or things that they do, my friend CJ is going to be the one to answer you. By the way, it's good for the company to have somebody like that, because it's that you get to get that back and forth. You get to feel like you kind of know the person a little bit. Also, if they are any good at social media or have a social media person, that person will be able to interact with you. Okay. Some companies do this better than others. This happened. So a few weeks ago, transformer blew in my neighborhood, and we didn't have power. It was probably, I think it came back on at like 2 in the morning or something like that, right? And this works the same way, guys, right? And when I said this, I'm jumping ahead. Twitter works the exact same way. Twitter works on hashtags, okay? I didn't include a separate slide for Twitter, but that's how Twitter works. And now it's like miserable hot because we live in Texas, and I'm having trouble sleeping because it's so hot. And I'm like, I text Encore, or tag them. And I'm like, hey, I haven't had power in this house since 4 o'clock. It's hot. What's up? Right? That was the whole tweet, and they responded within an hour. I finally fell asleep. But I got it the next morning. They responded. So companies will respond. It's just a matter of, how good the company is with it. The last time I did this presentation for another group, somebody asked, Jason, can we get the hashtag down, or can we get like just marketing jobs in Dallas? Because I live in Dallas. And I'm like, yes, but only if the company uses that hashtag. And so, because I'm curious, I got my phone and typed in hashtag marketing jobs Dallas. You know how many hits I got? 0. Why? Because it's probably a little too specific. Things that are, the more specific you get onto a hashtag, the less it will get hits coming through. So yes, that is a thing, provided the company actually uses it as a hashtag. Follow the companies and engage. I was just talking about this. Actually, make sure that you follow the company that you're looking to break into. Again, it's not the social media person that's going to be the one that decides whether or not you get a job, but engaging with a company is always a good practice. Again, you want to be noticed, right? And this is you want to stand out. The other thing is you slide into those DMs. This is not my idea, actually. This was a Gary Vaynerchuk thing. Gary V was talking once, said, he gets a lot of DMs. Sometimes he's in a good mood, and he will, people ask, hey, can I get like 20 minutes of your time? Sometimes he says, I'm in a good mood, and I'll say yes, right? Like, if you are able to do that and send messages, and people respond, again, it's just a good way for you to get noticed. So that's my Instagram. Oh, meetups. Is anybody going to any meetups? Yep, Jeff is. I may or may not have some clients on this call. If I do, you know about meetups, because I love meetups. I go to meetups. I'm in some meetups. I like meetups, and here's why. When you go to a meetup, right, it's about a specific thing. They have meetups for everything. For you guys that don't know what meetups are, you can go to meetup.com and you'll sign up for an account. It'll ask you questions like things that you like to do, and you'll then get suggestions from meetups based on what it is you said you liked, right? They have meetups for everything out there. There are some meetups for job seekers, but sometimes the energy level is not where it should be. So I tell people, go to meetups for things that you just like doing, right? You like dogs? They got a dog meetup. You like detective TV shows? There's a detective TV show meetup. They got a meetup for people that like to walk in the park and drink wine. That's an actual meetup. I'm not part of that meetup. I don't drink wine, but that is a friend of mine is. I know it's a real thing, right? Like, that's an actual meetup. They have meetups for everything. Find something that you like and go to that meetup. Here's what happens when you do this, okay? First off, you show up and they already like you. They already like you because you like detective TV shows as well, right? The other thing is, it depends on how long the group's been around. You show up, you're new. Now they really like you because you're new, right? But what happens and what will happen is, and this happens in every group situation, you're going to click with 1 or 2 other people more than somebody else, right? Some of the meetups are virtual. Some of them are in person. You figure out which ones you want to do. I always think in person is better, but just because you could read people a little bit better. But you figure out your comfort level on what you want to do. But you'll click with one or two other people. You can take that conversation offline to a different platform, or like maybe in person, right? Like, if it's going to be virtual, right? Because maybe the person's not local to you, right? Like, since the pandemic, guys, we've been living in a virtual world for quite some time. So maybe the person's not local. Maybe it's a virtual thing and they're in San Francisco and you're in Dallas. Okay, cool. Let's do virtual coffee, right? Ask them for virtual coffee, 20 minutes, virtual coffee. That's 10 minutes for you to tell your story, 10 minutes for them to tell their story. Let's figure out how we can help each other, right? And even though they are in San Francisco and you're in Dallas, you don't know who they know. They may know somebody local in Dallas. I don't know. But until you start having those conversations, you're not going to know. But one of the things that Meetup's easy because the people, again, you show up and they just like you for the thing that it is. It's dogs or whatever. But sooner or later, you're going to run out of dog stuff to talk about, right? And let's say it's in person, and it's like oh, that's your dog? That's your dog? Oh, he's cute. He's running around. Does he do any tricks? No. Okay, yeah, that's my dog over there. He does nothing. He just sits. Okay, after about 5-10 minutes of this, you're gonna run out of stuff to talk about. Hey, where's your dog eat, by the way? And so at some point, it's gonna go like this. So David, what do you do? It's just how we communicate as humans. I give this presentation, or I say this, and just last week, or it's last week or 2 weeks ago, I don't remember. I take walks, and I was walking through the park, and there's like 4 people, and they're all just kind of looking up. And I noticed one of them that's been in the park at the same time walking that I am. So I walk up to him. I'm like, "Hey guys, what are y'all doing?" Because everybody's looking up. And somebody on the other end of the park, they had one of these giant remote control planes that they were flying, and it was doing tricks and stuff. And that's what they were watching. And so I'm like, "Hey, I've seen you in the park before. I'm Jason." And everybody introduced themselves. And it wasn't a minute and a half to 2 minutes before one of the ladies turned to me and she goes, "So what do you do?" And I'm like, son of a mother, let's go. I keep telling everybody this is what's going to happen. And here it is happening to me in real life. It was the funniest thing. But my point on this and Meetups, people hire and they do business with people they like. They just do. So again, you show up to a meetup, they're already going to like you for the thing that the topic is about. Then they're going to get to know you. You're going to click and get into it with more people, right? Basically, you're just getting friends to help you out when you're looking for a job, right? What about Nextdoor? Does anybody know on Nextdoor? Some people jump you on everything. You raise your hand for all the social media. Nextdoor, I like Nextdoor. Nextdoor is an app. You can get it at the App Store. It's free. Basically, what Nextdoor does is it tells you what's going on in your neighborhood. I live in Plano, and we have a bobcat that's around. So it's like my next door is like it's full with the bobcats at El Dorado Park, and they like take a picture of it. It's like that's what my next door looks like. But one of the things that you can do with Nextdoor is this. And this wasn't even my idea. I had this aha moment. My neighbor, he's a handyman. His name's Trevor. Trevor was I forgot what he was fixing at my house. I had him come over to fix something, and I'm talking to him. I was like, "Where do you get a lot of business from?" And he goes, "Oh, I get a lot of business from Nextdoor." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." So that's where I had that aha moment, because what's happening and what Trevor's doing is he's posting in Nextdoor, "Hey, you need those gutters fixed? Give me a call," right? And or whatever it is, whatever the things he could do, right? And I was like, "Oh, that's brilliant." Because if he can prospect business through Nextdoor, you can prospect leads, right? Guys, who better to look for leads for you than your neighbors, right? Create a post in Nextdoor that says, "Hey, I'm a project manager. I'm looking for work. Let me know if you have any lead," and leave your number like Trevor did. Now, you will go to next door jail. They will shut your next door down. They will shut it down. I believe Trevor said it was like it should get shut down for like 14 days or something like that. But then he's back up and on it and still prospecting business. So just be aware, like if you try this tactic, they will shut you down, right? Because you're not letting people know where the Bobcat is. But they will shut you down. But once you get back up, you can do another post like that again, right? So I think it's an excellent idea. Again, it's not something a lot of people think of doing, and you might come away with a couple of leads. So, guys, that is the presentation. Let me stop sharing that. And did we have? If I wasn't really looking at the chat, did we have any questions? Y'all have any questions?
I didn't see any questions in the chat. I did see at one point somebody raised their hand. If you've got a question, you're welcome to unmute your mic and ask.
Yeah, I've got a question. This is Corey Spear. Thanks for this presentation, by the way. Just curious, how many social media sites is it recommended to be involved with?
It's a great question, Corey. So it honestly, it depends on what is going to work best for you. I'm mostly on LinkedIn. If I'm on any other social media for any bit of time, it would probably be Twitter. I am hardly ever on Facebook, and I don't really post a whole lot on Instagram either. Honestly, I don't really care what my friends and family are doing. Well, like if it's something important, somebody's going to tell me, right? Like I don't really care. So okay, Leah.
Anybody else have a question? Jason, if you would, why don't you tell us a little bit about the services that JFS sponsors or has, so that maybe somebody out there can use your services.
Absolutely. So thank you. I just to kind of give you guys a nutshell on what Jewish Family Service does. We are a nonprofit organization. Big misconception that everybody has that you have to be Jewish to receive services from the organization. That's not true. In fact, our motto is an open door to all. So anybody can use the services. What kind of service you got over there? Well, I told you I'm a career coach, but let's say I got a client who tells me, Jason, I'm so depressed, I can't even get out of bed. Whoa, I can't handle that. I am not equipped to handle that. I'm not trained to handle that. But we do have licensed clinicians here that are able to help out with those types of issues. We have an older adults program. What they do a couple different things with them, one of which is the friendly visitors, which we have people that go check on them. That program's getting back started. It did obviously get halted during COVID, but it is getting back together, and then help them out with either computer stuff or balancing a checkbook or whatever. We have programs for the kiddos. Not only do we have speech and play therapy, but also too they can do assessments for them for school as well. We have a food pantry here, and that's Tuesdays and Thursdays, or when that's open. In fact, they just when we were shut down, we had somebody, actually, I'll tell you, it was Toyota. Toyota helped us out, and they came in and completely redesigned our food pantry. It looks exactly like a supermarket when you walk in there. It is amazing. So we have that for any people that have food issues or needs. We've got that. Also, too, we have a program for victims of family violence. I work in the Career and Financial Services Department. What I do is I help job seekers out with job search strategy, interview technique, resume review, LinkedIn optimization. And our financial coaches, everybody that comes into our program gets a career and a financial coach. And financial coaches help people out with their credit score, a spending plan, your personal salary, right? Job postings out there have a salary attached to them, or they should. They do, whether they post it or not. They should be posted. That's a whole other thing. Don't get me started on that. But you should have a personal salary, right? You need to know what your salary range is. And that's what the financial coaches can help out with. Those are the main types of programs that we have here at Jewish Family Service. Honestly, there's usually another 15 to 20 programs that are seasonal and that run concurrent to that as well. But those are our main programs here.
Well, Jason, thank you. Any other questions? We'll turn you have time for one more question if anybody has anything. Going. All right. Well, Jason, thank you very, very much. Thank you for your time. Great presentation. If you want to connect with Jason, here is his LinkedIn profile. I hope it's his current one.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. And I love the title. Is I help job seekers get noticed by customizing a plan to meet their career goals. I mean, if that doesn't tell you what he does, I mean, that's just a great use of the space for a job title. Let somebody else know what it is he does. So if you want to connect with Jason, please do. Please send him a personal note. As he said, that personal note is very, very important because, I mean, I get connection requests every day, and I don't know why we should connect. Nobody tells me. And I'm not, tell me why we should connect. I'll be glad to connect with you. So Jason, once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see here. Career DFW and Career USA, we're putting on training 4 days a week. As I mentioned at the beginning, we've got a really interesting program coming up tomorrow. The one-page bio. If you don't have a one-page bio, you probably should, because when you send a resume out, that says, hire me, help me, I'm looking for a job. When you send a bio out, that's a great networking tool because it's not screaming, I need a job and I'm not looking for a job, but it tells somebody who you are, what you do, and what you can do. So it's a great tool. Join Minna tomorrow. She'll be with us to talk all about the one-page bio. Next Tuesday, our presentations with Kurt Vandermatter, LinkedIn Tuesdays. Kurt pays LinkedIn the big bucks for the full-blown recruiting package. As Jason said earlier, about 93% or 98% of recruiters all use LinkedIn. Kurt actually pays for the full-blown package, and he will show us what it looks like from the back end. So if you want to see what he's looking at when he's trying to find you, join us Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Next Wednesday, you can watch an actual practice interview. If you'd like to schedule a practice interview, you're welcome to go to dallaspickaroo.com and get more information about that. And then next Thursday, being the 5th Thursday of the month, the last Thursday of the month, I believe, yeah, last day of the month, I'll be doing a presentation on successful job searches, focus on these 4 areas, what those 4 areas that you need to concentrate on your job search. So we do networking on the 2nd and 4th Thursday. We do resumes on the 1st and 3rd Thursday. Being that there's 5 Thursdays, I'll do a presentation on successful job searches. All right, if you'd like to join the Career DFW and Career LinkedIn groups, you should join one, you should join both. You don't have to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to join the Career DFW group, but when you do, you will connect with over 13,800 other people that you can reach out to their connections. This session has been recorded. It will be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel. On the Career USA YouTube channel, be sure to click on playlist where you see that green arrow. Otherwise, you're going to see over 300 videos in some random order. But every video that I upload will go into a playlist. And then down below, pick whichever list you're looking for. In this case, pick networking. And don't click on the video, but down below it says view full playlist. Click on that, and up will come a list of all the different dates, titles, and topics, so you can see what it is we talked about. You're welcome to scroll back down and watch any of those at your convenience. If you're not receiving emails about our workshops and you'd like to join the Career USA mailing list, please send an email to careerusa+subscribe@groups.io. Career USA, +subscribe@groups.io. Just remember, Career DFW, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization, just like Jewish Family Services. Jason's a volunteer. He volunteered to do this presentation. I'm a volunteer. I've been a volunteer for the 13 years I've been doing this to try to help you land your next great opportunity. Career DFW survives on donations. It pays for the web hostings and everything else. Please consider making a donation when you get your next job. I did see a link, a text message here from, or a message from Richard. Can you please send a link? Just go to the Career DFW or CareerUSA.org websites, either one. Right in the very middle will say free career workshops. Click there and you'll see tomorrow's event listed. And when you click on it, you'll be able to find the link to join us via Zoom. And we will be on Facebook Live also again tomorrow if you'd like to join us there. So thank you very much for joining us today, everybody. Have a great Thursday. Jason, once again, thank you very much. Everybody out there, please stay cool.
Thanks, Jeff and Jason.